What's up, people? I am back for another video. Like I said, I'll be doing that Cage movie another time, maybe after New Year's Eve. Like, maybe after, not New Year's Eve, I meant to say after Christmas. Maybe we'll do it. But today, I guess technically this is a bad movie Wednesday, but I don't consider this a bad movie. And, like, it's objectively bad, but man, I'm not gonna lie. And this is what the video is gonna be titled Unintentionally Hilarious, because that is what this movie is. It is unintentionally funny. I'm reviewing Kraven, the Hunter. And I'll agree with Mara, who talked to me about the movie. I If you don't look at it as a Craven movie, I guess it could be fine because there's some decent action in it. I'll be honest, like I didn't expect it to be as violent as it was, but it was. But lore wise, this movie destroys everything. Craven's not a good guy. He's not an animal guy. He kills animals, by the way. He's a hunter. The whole point. But Aaron Taylor Johnson was decent. Like, you can tell it's a case of he knew the script was shit, but he at least tried to make it work. Russell Crowe, my god. And this is what I mean. This is part of the unintentionally funny part. His Russian accent is one of the worst Russian accents. It is like even worse than Scarlet Witch in Age of Ultron. Like, this was bad. Like, every time he spoke, I'm like, bro, did they just tell him do generic Russian voice and this is what he brought out? I'm like, oh my god, man. And I'll say this, the movie made it seem like, or at least the trailers made it seem like he was gonna be the big bad. He wasn't. The big bad was Rhino, who, I'll give it to him. Yeah, he looked like shit, especially when he moved. But when he didn't move, I'm okay with them going the route of at least making him more like an actual human Rhino instead of what they did in Amazing Spider-Man 2, where he was just a fucking mech. That was fucking stupid. He's not a mech. I actually like him just being a Rhino. That's what made the character work. Even though when he's not Rhino, he's just generic bad guy. And the movie, you get like a 45-minute just backstory about how his dad raised him and take over his trafficking operations. This is when he gets wounded, and this is gonna be the thumbnail of the video. Is him getting attacked by this lion, and my god, this lion is like this genetically modified lion. It's basically like Peter Parker. He got bit by. They don't even explain it's genetically modified. It just is, and the CGI is atrocious. Oh my god, man! That's gonna be the thumbnail because I wanted to find a scene where it really shows how bad the CGI is, and this is the one that came up because my god, the CGI is like absolutely horrible. It is like, what the fuck? Oh man. But I guess we can get into some positives. I do think if you could make this a tolerable movie, couple ways. Obviously, you take out that this is Craven, and you tie it to Marvel. You take out all the ties, and you just make it revenge story. I think this movie could be fine because it has some decent action. Aaron Taylor Johnson at least tries to be charismatic, and he tried to do something with it. And I will say it's better than Madam Web. And of the crop of Madam Web, Morbius, and then this movie, this is definitely better of the three. And I understand that's not saying shit, but it is like, at least it's entertaining. And like I said, it's unintentionally funny. Like, just this movie, like, I guess we're gonna get into the objective negatives now. How all over the place the movie is. Like, there's no, like, some scenes just jump and shit is just happening. There's no flow to it at all. Like, at fucking all. But at least there's some flow with the action scene. But, like, in terms of, like, story narrative, not at all. Like, there's this 40, like, I don't know if it's 45 minutes, if it was like 30, I don't know how long this scene was, but this whole flashback, you see him as a kid, because the opening scene is you see him take out some hunters where he is now, and then they do like a whole flashback, and it's Oh my god, man. Fuck. This is where and they have a bunch of name drops. Like you have Calypso, she's a villain in the comics too. You have Chameleon, who that's his brother. Who once again that's a villain in the comics, but Sony really fucked this whole thing up. And I mean, obviously, we can go into the negatives. Obviously, what they're doing with Kraven, because this isn't Kraven. Kraven's not an animal guy. He kills animals. And oh, the biggest negative is definitely it just abrupt. It just kind of fucking ends. He gets a package from his dad, and it's basically the iconic vest with the fur in the back of it that you see in the comics, and then it just fucking ends. It's just like oh, like the fight with Rhino in the end, I guess that's supposed to be the final fight. It did not feel like a final fight at all. It almost felt like I thought we still had like at least maybe 15 minutes or 20 minutes of the movie left. Like I thought we still had some time in the movie. And it just fucking ends. It is like, oh, okay. I haven't seen a movie just had this abrupt of an ending in a long time. Here's the thing. I'm okay with abrupt endings if it makes sense, but a lot of times I'm not, just because this case especially, because it just feels like there was way more they could have done, and it just fucking ends. It's like, oh, okay. I didn't know we're just gonna be wrapping it like that, and but everything else, it was only 2 hours. It wasn't too long. There's some unintentional, like I'm keep saying, unintentional hilarity in it. Some of the horrendous CGI. Like there's a scene where it's him as a kid and he's in like the in a fog and you see this really bad CGI wolf. Like some of the there or the scene where you see like this CGI stampede of a buffalo coming and my god, they look bad. It's like the only like decent like I guess enough animal CGI was like when he looks outside a window and you see like I think it's a hawk or an eagle, one of the two. It's a bird of prey. It's a bird of prey. That's it's definitely that, but I think it's a hawk or an eagle. And that's like the only decent shot where it looked somewhat decent. Where everything else, oh my god, that lion, man, that CGI is atrocious. And then you have this like Calypso's or I think it's his grandma who basically helped um I'll say Kraven, even though his real name I think is Sergey. And we find out I think it's implied that his father has his mom sent away, but they don't explain shit really. They don't explain why his mom sent it was sent away. We don't really know, and I also think the movie does a really bad job of showing you how um Nikolai Russell Crowe's character is a he's a hard ass, and yeah, the only thing that shows he's bad is he sells drugs. He's a trafficker. Like okay, that part okay, he's bad in that way, but they try to I guess I'll more say they do a bad job of showing how he's a bad dad. There's one scene where he's beating his son, I guess, like where he's hitting his son and like talking shit to him. So I think that's like the only close. That's like the closest we get. But everything else, like especially when you see him when he's raising them up when they're kids, I don't really think they show you like. It just comes off like he's just really strict and that's it. I don't. I think you got to really show a better job of him being a bad father than they did, in my opinion. Movie. Um. It I will say though, it's quick. Like you very much like the scene where he escapes prison was well done, even though some of the moments where he's moving like an animal. Because his powers is he has like animal sense, which is by the way, Kraven doesn't have powers in the comics, but and yeah, I will. I know it sounds like I'm gonna be roasting this movie, but I am roasting it a little bit. But I had fun, man. This is gonna be in the realm of a Jason X for me and a Leprechaun in the Hood in the sense of how absurd it is. and some of the writing and some of this, but I have fun with it. And I would watch it again, man. Like just being high and drunk. If I just want to see something super absurd for like 2 hours. And I'll say it's quick 2 hours. I didn't feel like I was fucking bored. Madam Web, there was just points I was just like, can we keep it moving? At least this was fucking entertaining bad. I mean, obviously it bombed, and they've already even said that they're moving on from this universe, but it's like, at least there's something there. And I think if you don't, even if you don't do drugs, if you're one of those people who just has fun roasting bad movies, I think this is one you'll enjoy in that sense. It's not objectively good. If I'm being objective, this movie is like probably a 4 out of 10, but I'll give it like a 5.5 for just being meme worthy and just at least being fucking entertaining and making me laugh and how absurd it is and unintentionally hilarious it is. And Calypso, I will say, has no purpose in this movie besides to just be a name drop. Like, hey guys, oh, there it is. I was looking for something. But like, she was just there to be a name drop. Be like, hey guys, if you remember her, you remember Calypso from the comics? Because she has no real purpose in the movie. She's not a love interest. She's just there because I think she kind of a little bit aids him in what he's doing. But basically, yeah, the Rhino and his people kidnap his brother, but obviously his brother turns out to be a villain and is the chameleon. And yeah, it turns out, yeah, his brother gets shape shifting abilities, and that's how he becomes. Because there's even a shot of him, which I'll be honest, that was a decent shot where you see the white face. If you know the comics, that's what Chameleon's true form looks like. Is he has a white face. I thought that was cool, but then, like I said, he just gets a package from his father, and then it just ends. It just is the most. I have never seen a movie end just abrupt. Like wait, the fuck? It just ended. I thought there was more. I was like expecting maybe like 10 more minutes, 15 more minutes. But Kraven's bad, but I had fun with it. I probably won't put it in my worst movies of the year list, which I am working on right now. Which I'll probably that one I think I can. I might just do that one early because it's pretty much set. Because I don't plan on seeing any other movie that's gonna be bad. Because I think Nosferatu. I don't think it'll be bad. I think that's gonna be good. Everything I've seen. I mean, there's already people who have seen it already have said it's really good. So, and I like Robert Eggers. I can see myself liking it. So I don't really think it's gonna be bad. So I don't, and I'm not seeing Mufasa, and I can already tell that's gonna be a shit show. But I'm not seeing that. So I might maybe next week do that video. I'll pick a day, but I might be next week. Probably will be the day I do it because I don't think there's any other big releases anyway after this week. So, oh, speaking of which, Sonic 3's coming out. I'll probably review it. I don't know because I'm not a big Sonic guy, and I might maybe go back and do the other two before I do three. But I'll still watch it. What I might do is I might just give quick thoughts in a video initially because I'm not a Sonic guy, and I don't know if I'm even going to review it, to be honest. Just even the other two movies because they're good, but I don't need to do whole videos on them. So down the line, but other than that, that was a quick side point. But yeah, I don't plan on watching. I don't think there's gonna be anything else I foresee being shit, at least this year. So I think yeah. So next week will probably be. It's probably gonna at least be. Like I said, this could be more than a top 10. I tweeted this out a couple days ago, and yeah, this probably could be worse than a more than a top 10. Probably top 15, maybe. We'll see. But yeah, it'll be next week. The best movie of the year, I'll probably wait closer to. I'll wait till after Nosferatu. I'll just say it. I'll say that. I'll wait till after Nosferatu. Because I have a feeling that's going to change. That's going to probably be my number one. But we'll see. But anyways. I guess besides that, tomorrow I will be reviewing the first 28 Days Later movie, and I cannot wait to do that. And I actually really like the second one too. I know it's not as good as the first one, but I remember really loving the second one. But 28 Days Later is so iconic, and I'm actually happy that trailer came out because it really kind of got me in the mood of wanting to watch these movies. So I'll be reviewing that tomorrow, and then Friday will be Man of Steel. So we got a nice couple days. And for Man of Steel, since Superman, that the James Gunn Superman trailer is coming out tomorrow, either for the Man of Steel video or I guess tomorrow will make more sense. Tomorrow, really quick, I'll probably during the video for um 28 days later, I'll give a quick little review of the Superman trailer because y'all know I'm a big Superman guy, so I'm gonna give my quick thoughts on that instead of doing a whole. I was thinking about doing a reaction, but I might do that. You know what I might do the reaction for though? Whenever that Jurassic World Rebirth trailer comes out, I might do a reaction of that, like how I did with the Crow one. We'll see if it's good or not, but yeah. But anyways, guys, let's get ready to get into Kraven the Hunter. Like what I mean unintentionally here is even just some of the ways people just deliver lines. Like I don't. There was a scene where Kraven just says his name and I'm Kraven. Like it's shit like that. I'm like, what the fuck? But anyway, and everybody just somehow knows who he is. For some reason, I. Mm. That's what I mean. Like, if this movie was not like, I guess if I were to rate it, if you take out it being Craven and tied with Marvel and all that, it could be a decent action flick. This would more be like a 6 out of 10 action flick if it was not Craven and tied with Marvel. But because it is like a Marvel and it's tied with that character, I have to give it. I can't give it higher than a 5.5. I even think a 5.5. Some people might even look at me like that's higher than I thought I would give it. Because I'll be honest, I thought I was probably gonna give it like a 3 out of 10 or like a 4, like around what I gave Madam Web. But which yeah, expect that to be on the list for worst of the year. Even though there's some meme worthy moments. The problem was it was not entertaining. It was straight up just boring. But anyway, so pretty much the movie starts where you see kind of Craven take out hunters, but then you get this random jump to a flashback where you see him as a kid and how his father, him and his brother Dimitri, who then later is Chameleon. I mentioned a character like the Jackal, who's also from the comics, who's also a bad guy, but everyone in this world's like anti-heroes. It makes no sense. But anyway, and you see his father's hard on him and all that. But his father, it just comes off like his father just wants to teach him to be a man. Like, yeah, what he does to the scene with Dimitri later on where he is like slapping him around and being shitty to him. That's like the only scene where I got the vibe he was a piece of shit. But piece of shit dad. But the problem is the movie does a terrible job because it's a lot of telling, not showing. It is the classic case of there's a lot of just exposition dumps too. Like there's a scene where you obviously you just get this whole big flashback, but then there's a scene later where he also tells Calypso how his father raised him. It's like, what the fuck? We just watched this. I don't need you to tell me what I just saw. Oh man, this movie. It's fucking funny. So this is where I'll just jump to the scene where they go to Tanzania and Africa, and they're going on a hunting trip. And my God, man, Russell Crowe's Russian accent, I was fucking howling almost watching it. It had me dying the whole time. I couldn't. It was so bad. I'm like, it is the most like just do a basic Russian accent, and that's what it is. And that's what he did. I don't know if he just knew this movie was shit, so he just didn't even try. Because I think Russell Crowe has shown he can do different fucking accents, you know? In fucking Pope's Extras, which came out last year, he did a decent Italian accent and it was alright. It wasn't the best Italian accent, but it was alright. And then in this, it's just like the most like basic bit, almost like if you're like an up and coming actor who's like in I'm not even saying in Hollywood, in like you're like a student actor, just do a Russian voice. That is what they would come up with. Because my God, man, it was so I it had me fucking dying every time he talked in that accent. It was like I couldn't take the shit seriously. I was, oh man, it. And then okay, so they go on a hunt, and this is where they see the lion, and instantly, for some reason, Craven as a kid, and his name's Sergey, but I'm just gonna call him Craven throughout the review. Um, had instantly the lion wasn't about to attack him, but then his dad like shot it, and then it agitated it. And my God, the CGI for this lion looks so bad. It looks horrible. It's like, it looks like a video game. It is like a PS4 render. Like this wolf, you could see in like some, like you throw that wolf in like a really up, like a PS4 version of The Witcher, it might as well have been that. It did not look good at all. Or, or I was talking about there's a wolf later. I meant to say the lion. The lion looked awful. And I'm assuming it's supposed to be genetically enhanced, and that's partially why it's so big. But my fucking God, it's like, guys, Jurassic Park was in 1990 fucking 3, and even Lost World was in 1997. How come we have better effects then, but this, you can't even just do a decent CGI lion? Oh my God. And I got it in this is going to be the thumbnail for the video, where it's like attacking him in motion. And I wanted to get a really bad, like I wanted, this is like the worst CGI in the entire film. Oh man, this movie, dude, it is so unintentionally hilarious, and every little thing, like the dialogue. So once the lion lets go, I guess the lion's blood gets, because it got shot, so it mixed with his blood, and yeah, so he's in the hospital, and then he gets taken out of the hospital, and because he's near death. This is where he is found by Calypso and her grandmother, who took care of him. For and my God, the grandmother was not a good actress. She was not a good actress either. And so he gets and the tarot card has a lion on it, and that's basically the little thing he has throughout the movie. And it's like it's supposed to matter, but it really doesn't. But anyway, so you get his quick little backstory. He then runs away because he got basically he's mad at his father's actions. And then this is where he goes into the fort, the woods, and runs off, and he starts fending off the land because that's when he starts honing in on his powers. And yeah, Kraven for some reason has powers. That's what I mean. This movie is fucking goated just because of that. Like it is how absurd it is. I haven't. This is like if I had to say, maybe just like if I do unofficial award, like meme worthy movie of the year in the sense of making me laugh like this is this one. I did not realize how unintentionally hilarious this was gonna fucking be. Um. Then yeah, this is the scene I was talking about where he sees a wolf in the like, cause he's in like this giant fog, and he sees this wolf, and my God, the wolf looks awful, bro. It is some of the worst. It's like they didn't even like try with the CGI. At least the hawk that he sees, I think, is around the same scene or not long before this scene. At least looked okay. This was bad, bro. Like they didn't even try. Sony didn't give a fuck, man. But Tom Rothman is notoriously not giving a fuck about superhero movies anyway. So it's sad because Sony made the rainy Spider-Man movies, and here we are. Like I said, I had fun with this movie. I can enjoy it for the meme it is. It's not a good film, but I can enjoy it for the meme it is. And this is where now they just jump ahead 16 years. No explanation. He's just a hunt. He's a hunter killer now. Because this is where now, yeah, he's Kraven now. They don't even really explain how he got the name either. He's Kraven. I mean, obviously we know who Kraven is from the comics, but it's so half-assed. Like, when they get called this name because we know him by the character, but they don't actually really explain why he's called that. It's like, at least explain in the movie. Oh man, it's kind of sad that this is the introduction some people will have. In this sense, it is really sad. This is the first introduction to Kraven some people might fucking have if whoever goes and sees this movie. Because especially at least live action, this is Kraven. This is what we did. But once again, you got to take it out. I hate explaining it like that, but you almost have to like not look at it like a Kraven movie, and it is a 6 out of 10 action movie because the action parts are good. It's just the story isn't. So yeah, he kills a bunch of criminals. He kills an armed. And I'll admit, this is probably one of the better scenes in the movie where he takes out this group of traffickers and hunters. And this is the scene you see in the trailer when he kills them with the crossbow. I'll be honest, that Aaron Taylor Johnson at least tries. Like I said, throughout the movie, he at least tries to be entertaining and give you something. He isn't just. I'm gonna say he's not a fucking. I don't even remember the bitch's name. The chick who plays the main lead in Madam Web. She was fucking boring. At least Aaron Taylor Johnson tries in this fucking movie. This is where Nikolai um him and his brother meet for Dimitri's birthday, and him and his brother, and this is where Nikolai comes along, and this is where he first sees him, and man, none of their scenes really, it doesn't matter because this is like the only scene they have together. I wish they like just put a bit more effort into it. It's just they didn't. It was just like, oh, here we are. So Dimitri gets captured by Nikolai's boss. And this is and Nikolai's boss is actually basically he's the real villain of the movie because I was thinking going in, I'm gonna be honest, this was me. Like I thought going in, because even like the trailers made it seem, especially the earlier on trailers, it made it seem like it was gonna be him versus his dad. His dad was gonna be the big bad and he was gonna compete against him. I was even saying that before, like last week before it came out, and I guess I don't know if they changed their minds or if maybe I just read it wrong, but because I didn't think Rhino was gonna be the actual villain of the film. I'm just be honest, I didn't think he was gonna be the main villain of the film. I thought he was gonna be more of a side villain, or maybe even a cameo. But to be fair, you only see him in his Rhino form in the end. You don't. He mentions the experiments, but he's mostly Alexander throughout the film, like until the scene where he goes in animal form, and then throughout the film, Kraven is talking to Calypso, and I'm not saying I usually don't want a love story, but at least if you had one, it would give her a purpose in this movie. Even if it's I guess it's not a great purpose, but at least it's something. But her just not being a love interest. Why is she here? I guess because her grandmother saved him, but it's just like you could have did something else, and you could have easily thought of another way for him to get out of him getting saved, or you could have easily just had it where like his dad finds him and they get him to a hospital. Literally, you could have just tweaked it. There's no need for a character actually in this movie at all, besides just being a name drop for I guess comic book fans. But the problem is she's not Calypso in the comic form. She's just Calypso by name only. She's just there to kind of give him information, and then he talks to her throughout the film. A lot of the some of Alexander's people's going for her because she knows who he is, and this is where so Alexander realizes that Kraven is Dimitri's brother, so he lures him to a trap to basically essentially make it seem like, oh, he's gonna be able to rescue his brother, and then it lures him to a trap, and he's nearly killed. And this is where you see the foreigner who's hired. He's a side villain, and the fight was. I'll be honest, the fight with the foreigner and Kraven wasn't terrible. And like the moments where Kraven's just killing people is pretty good. Like even in that open, he's just like quickly killing people. I didn't realize how violent this movie was gonna be. Like I didn't think it was gonna be like for a Marvel film. Obviously, it's not MCU, but like just a Marvel film. Like, god damn, this was like pretty. This I think it was R rated. It had to be, but he's able to like he has ocular hypnosis. That's the foreigner's power. So he basically can make you think you're seeing things. Eventually, he makes it seem like they killed Craven, but Calypso ends up killing him. This is like the only scene where I guess she does something is she saves him, and then she revives him, and they make it seem like he's dead. But then yeah, he comes back, confronts him. And then this is where he then, because Craven uses a stampede of Buffalo to try to save his brother. Alexander turns to Rhino. The fight's like not long at all, but I will say at least they try to make him look more like the character from the comic. I would have rather them. I'd rather them do that, even if it doesn't look good when he moves and all that. And it looks like a video game when he, like I said, when he moves, it looks like a fucking video game. But at least he looks like the characters, better than the mech suit they were doing in the second movie. But yeah, he gets killed pretty quick. It's not a long fight at all. Then this is where we do find out I guess his father is the bad guy, but he's more of a side bad guy. Because I'll be honest, I thought he was gonna be like the main bad guy. I guess in a sense he was because he's the one he confronted after, but it didn't feel like he was the bad guy. Maybe even when I was watching, I didn't really catch on because it felt like the main bad guy was, I'll just say, Rhino, and so he confronts his father, beats him up, and almost like I guess in a way leaves him for dead and takes his ammunition. And then we jump a year later. Dimitri, he goes to see his brother. So he goes to see his brother, and this is where we get the reveal that his brother's also a bad guy. Whatever. And yeah, his brother's chameleon. He has the abilities to shapeshift. And this is where you do get a quick shot of him in the white face, which I'll be honest, that looked good. Like that shot of him, like even if it didn't look the greatest, I'm like, oh, that was kind of cool. But yeah, he disowns his brother, and he basically aligns more with how his father thought, and that was it. And then the movie, he goes and finds a gift from his father, which turns out that is the vest made from the lion he killed, and he just puts it on. The movie just fucking ends. It's such the most abrupt ending because I thought there was gonna be more. Like it seemed like there was gonna be more to the ending, and it just ends. It's like, oh, okay. But yeah, the movie is fucking hilarious. The dialogue delivery, the fact that it is very all over the place, but I can still have fun with it. It's not. I don't know if I want to say it's a it knows what it is type of movie, but it borderline is. Like Sony didn't give a fuck, and you can clearly tell. And lore wise, this is awful. But if you take out it being Kraven and all that, this is a 6 out of 10 action movie. It has some decent action scenes, and at least Russell Crowe, even though he was clear, kind of phoning it in, at least he still kind of tried. It was just the accent was awful, and Dimitri, I think obviously they could explore that more. You could have more of a movie, but whatever. It's a 6 out of 10 action movie, but a memeable Marvel movie. I did not realize how bad some of the CGI was gonna be, and Calypso was pretty much a useless character. She was just there to be a name drop, but whatever. And I can see myself watching this again just if I need a movie to like sit back and just get high and just laugh at. This would be one. And it could, like I said, it could be a 6 out of 10 action movie. You just don't look at it like a Marvel movie and all that. And I'm gonna say it. At least I was entertained compared to like Miss, Madam Web or even Morbius. So So 5.5 out of 10, I guess overall. But yeah, um, but yeah, that was Craven. So I mean, it's better than fucking. At least it's not the Crow. So, anyways, tomorrow I will be reviewing 28 Days Later. I cannot wait to do that, man. I love that movie. That is one of my favorite zombie films. It's like that and like Zack Snyder's Dawn of the Dead are like my two favorite zombie films of all time. I love the OG Dawn of the Dead, but I really love those two. Those two zombie movies are like what I think of what I would want from a perfect zombie film. Cillian Murphy is really good, and having thank God that trailer came out because it kind of gave me the idea to want to even go back and watch these movies. Because yeah, I could wait and review these movies like closer to when the new one comes out, but that's too long. These are good movies. I want to watch them again anyway, so might as well just review it along the way. So can't wait to talk about that tomorrow. And yeah, at least this Thursday and Friday, I got some good movies to be talking about. 28 Days Later. Then Friday, I got Man of Steel, so I got some good stuff to talk about. Um, I will, like I mentioned, I will be watching Sonic 3, but I'm just gonna more like just give a quick thoughts, and I'll try to do some kind of video this weekend. Maybe, fuck it. You know what? I know I said I'll maybe do it next week. Maybe I'll just do the bad video list this weekend. Fuck it. I mostly have it. I think I can finish it by Saturday or Sunday. So Probably do it Sunday though, but more like it'll probably be Sunday. But I might try to see if I can do it Saturday, but we'll see. Other than that, guys, subscribe to Pin Down Podcast. Link will be in the description. Kraven was a 5.5 out of 10, and it was a unintentionally hilarious movie. Talk to y'all later. Peace.